Have you ever found it difficult to deal with stress and uncertainty in your relationships? How do you respond to them? Today, we will discuss a very interesting topic, which is how the principles of Stoicism can influence and enrich our love relationships. Let's delve into it and find the answers. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and hit the subscribe button to support our channel and stay updated with our latest videos. Now, let's get started. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that originated in ancient Greece in the 3rd century BC and has continued to evolve over the centuries. This philosophy teaches fundamental principles that inspire wisdom, inner peace, and happiness in life. There are 3 main Stoic principles relevant in the context of relationships: acceptance, emotional control, and focus on the controllable. With acceptance, we can better understand our partners, accept their strengths and weaknesses, and reduce unnecessary conflicts. With emotional control, we can respond to conflicts more calmly and wisely. And by focusing on what can be controlled, we can make positive changes in our relationships through wise actions. The first principle of Stoicism is acceptance. This means accepting our partners as they are, with all their strengths and weaknesses. It doesn't mean we have to agree with everything, but we learn not to be overly critical or judgmental of every action or trait of our partners. Why is acceptance of a partner important in Stoicism? Reducing conflict. When we accept our partners as they are, we tend to reduce conflicts in the relationship. Excessive criticism or unrealistic expectations can often be sources of unnecessary conflict. By accepting our partners, we are more likely to understand and accept their differences. Reducing stress. Having high expectations or trying to change our partners to fit our ideal image can be very stressful. Stoicism teaches us to relieve stress by accepting reality and the people around us. Building empathy. Accepting our partners is also related to building empathy. When we accept them as they are, we are more likely to listen and understand their perspectives. This can lead to better communication and deeper relationships. Emotional connection. Acceptance of a partner helps create a strong emotional connection. Partners who feel accepted by each other tend to feel safer and more open with each other. This can strengthen the bond in the relationship. Avoiding guilt. Being overly critical of our partners or constantly trying to change them can lead to guilt and unhappiness. By accepting them, we avoid this guilt and create a more positive environment. Enhancing well-being. Together. Acceptance of a partner helps create a more positive atmosphere in the relationship. When partners feel accepted, they are both more likely to be happy together and experience well-being in the relationship. In the Stoic context, accepting a partner is about accepting the reality that every individual has strengths and weaknesses, and we cannot change them entirely to our liking. It doesn't mean surrendering to differences or issues that may arise in the relationship, but rather adopting a wise and patient approach to dealing with them. Imagine you and your partner have differences in how you manage finances. You prefer strict budgeting, while your partner tends to spend more freely. This often becomes a source of conflict in your relationship. If you react without acceptance, you may react with anger or frustration every time your partner makes a large purchase or exceeds the budget you agreed upon. You may feel that their approach to finances is wrong, and you keep trying to change them. The impact of this reaction tends to trigger more serious conflicts. Your partner may feel unappreciated or criticized every time they make a financial decision. They may feel the need to constantly defend their choices, potentially leading to unproductive arguments. However, if you accept with acceptance, by applying the Stoic principle of acceptance, you try to see the situation from a different perspective. You realize that your partner has a different approach to finances, and it may be a part of their personality and experiences. You decide to accept this difference and find ways to communicate better. As a result, you are more likely to have open discussions about financial matters and seek mutually acceptable solutions. You may reach an agreement to set a reasonable budget or allocate extra funds for occasional discretionary spending. The benefit of this approach reduces tension in your relationship. Your partner feels more appreciated because you are not overly critical of them, and you feel happier because you are no longer frustrated by these differences. This creates a more harmonious relationship and allows both of you to learn from each other. The second principle in Stoicism is controlling our emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing or hiding emotions, but rather how we respond to them. We cannot avoid emotions, but we can change how we interact with them. How does emotional control work according to Stoicism? Control over reactions. Stoicism teaches that emotions are natural reactions to events, but we have control over how we respond to them. We can choose to respond wisely and calmly, rather than impulsively and hurriedly. Recognizing emotions. Stoicism encourages us to better understand the sources and types of emotions we experience. This helps us respond more effectively because we know what is actually happening within us. Ego control. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of controlling ego and the desire to always be right. This helps us respond without taking everything as a personal threat, which often leads to conflict. This example of how emotional control can diffuse arguments. Imagine you and your partner have been arguing for hours about a sensitive topic. You feel frustrated and angry because you believe your partner doesn't understand your point of view. If you react emotionally without applying Stoicism principles, you might explode in anger, say hurtful words, and escalate the tension in the argument. But if you control your emotions, using Stoicism principles, you will try to control your emotional reaction. You realize that getting angry and being harsh won't help resolve the issue. Instead, you decide to pause, take deep breaths, and reflect on why you feel this way. As a result, by controlling your emotions, you can return to the conversation with a cooler head. You express your views more calmly and wisely, and you listen attentively to what your partner has to say. This opens the door to a more constructive discussion, reduces unnecessary arguments, and leads to better communication and problem-solving in the relationship. Stoicism helps us become calmer and wiser in handling conflicts, which can strengthen our relationships. The third Stoic principle is about focusing our attention and energy on aspects of life that are within our control. This helps avoid feelings of frustration and anxiety that often arise when we worry too much about things beyond our control. In the context of relationships, it means focusing on our own actions and reactions rather than the behavior or actions of our partners. Example of how focusing on our reactions can help solve relationship issues. Imagine you and your partner frequently argue about how to manage time at home. You feel that your partner doesn't contribute enough to household chores and is always late for gatherings with your friends. If you react without applying Stoicism principles, you may become increasingly frustrated and angry every time your partner is late or doesn't help out. You might start nagging or even argue whenever this issue arises. But if you focus on your reactions, using Stoicism principles, you decide to focus on your reaction to the situation. You realize that you can't control your partner's actions, but you can control how you respond. You choose to have an open and calm conversation with your partner about your feelings and work together to find a solution. As a result, by controlling your reactions and having a wise conversation, you open up a healthy dialogue about this issue. Your partner may also be more willing to hear your perspective and work together to find solutions. Ultimately, this helps address the problem and improve cooperation in your relationship. In this video, we have explored the Stoic principles that can help improve our relationships. First, acceptance allows us to accept our partners as they are, reducing conflicts and creating a more harmonious environment. Second, emotional control teaches us to respond wisely and calmly, helping us avoid unnecessary arguments. Third, focusing on what we can control directs our attention to our own actions and reactions, allowing us to more effectively address problems. We invite you to try applying these Stoic principles in your relationships. By accepting, controlling emotions, and focusing on what you can control, you can strengthen your bonds, improve communication, and create healthier and more harmonious relationships. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope you can benefit from the Stoic principles in your life and relationships. Don't hesitate to like and share with your loved ones so that together we can.